Hi there, friends. Welcome and thank you for joining us for another informative weekend edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. We have sights and sounds from Expo Jamaica 2023. Plus, we'll explore making plant nutrient through composting solid waste. Stick and stay for these and much more in this half hour. It all unfolds right after this quick break.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
Original.
Jamaica's capacity to produce world-class products through its burgeoning manufacturing sector was on display at the biannual JMEA Expo Jamaica held recently. Watch this next feature for scenes from this year's display and hear official remarks about the event that connects manufacturers with buyers locally and across the world.
We have 230 exhibitors occupying almost 350 booth spaces. We have over 660 buyers from 30 countries, such as Sweden, Oman, Yugoslavia, our Caribbean affiliates. Of course, we have many other buyers from our more traditional trading partners, such as the US, UK, and Canada.
Jamaica's Business Ministry is happy to be the title sponsor of the 48th staging of the largest exposition and trade show in the English-speaking Caribbean. My ministry is happy to partner with the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association and others sponsors in bringing Expo Jamaica to our exhibitors, buyers and consumers. Expo Jamaica represents the best of us in Jamaica, and our sponsorship underscores the government's commitment to give its fulsome support to the entire business sector. Jamaica's Business Ministry and our 20 agencies, all the JAMPRAs, the Trade Board, the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority, Exim Bank, JBDC, all of them, committed to create an enabling environment that will see us grow exports and increase local and foreign direct investments into our country.
This is a true partnership between the government and the private sector, and this is a recipe for success in the future.
The Jamaica Manufacturers Association and Exporters Association Expo is an exciting, highly anticipated, and well-loved national event for the business community and indeed for all Jamaicans. It is to expose the productive capacity, the innovation, the ingenuity, the creativity of Jamaican manufacturing. And I'm certain that as a result of this expo and the exposure that this broad-based manufacturing base of Jamaica will get, our manufacturing will increase even greater. We are seeing a resurgence of manufacturing. We take great pride in noting that we are seeing a 6% increase in the last statistics regarding the growth of the manufacturing sector. We're also happy that we're seeing significant interest from our international buyers in all areas, in distribution, from our retailers, hotel purchasers, potential partners in various manufacturing endeavors. There are several serious investors who are here, who have already struck business deals, but who are also here to see what else they can invest in.
I will continue to lead the charge to expand existing and find new markets for Jamaican goods and services by taking business delegations to different cities and countries. So I have this charge for you. We must grow our exports exponentially.
Do you know what a disability is? A permanent loss of function in any part of your body is called a disability. Some people are born that way. Others get a disability because of an illness or an accident. This doesn't have to prevent you from living a full life. The Disabilities Act will protect your right to work, raise families, or do business like anyone else. Visit jcpdja.com. A message from the JCPD, an agency of the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
We all have inherent abilities to be creative and productive, even in circumstances of a disability. Assistive devices for persons with disabilities make the possibilities even more achievable. Let's find out more in this next feature.
I'm Dion Jennings, Chief Technical Director assigned to the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. When we protect, promote, and secure the rights and well-being of persons with disabilities, we move closer to realizing Jamaica's Vision 2030 goals, that of fostering inclusion, independence, access, and full participation of persons with disabilities in all spheres of national development. The Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, under the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, is charged with the responsibility for implementing policies and programs for persons with disabilities. The JCPD, through the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, will continue to provide support to persons with disabilities to access assistive aids and adaptive devices to enable their independence in their everyday life.
What is a hearing aid?
A hearing aid is a small electronic device that someone who has a hearing loss uses.
Are there different types of hearing aids?
There are different types of hearing aids, and usually they are associated with the type of hearing loss that you have. The behind the ear can be used by anyone who has any levels of hearing loss, from a mild to a profound level. Then you have a receiver in the canal hearing aid, basically for persons with a mild to moderately severe hearing loss. They may have a bud, and if you have a greater loss, then a custom-made mold is attached to the RIC hearing aid, which is a receiver in the canal. Then you have an in-the-ear hearing aid, again, that is used by persons who have a mild to a profound hearing loss. Then you have in-the-canal hearing aid. That is used by persons, again, who have a mild to a moderately severe hearing level. The last hearing aid that we have is called the completely in the canal, and that is used for persons with a mild to moderately severe hearing loss.
Tips to care for hearing aids.
There are different types of hearing aid, and all of them are taken care of the same way, in the sense that they all use a battery, and you're not to use any liquid on the hearing aids. So there is a brush that normally comes with the product that you will clean off any wax or any moisture. Use it on a piece of tissue or a soft rag, and you take out the wax out of the openings of the hearing aid. So this is an in-the-ear hearing aid, and so this is taken care of by putting in the battery here, and then you remove it, leave the battery door open, put down in the case, And then if you have a behind-the-ear hearing aid, it's basically the same way. You have the battery door, and you remove the battery. You have the brush. You clean around the tips of the hearing aid, and you clean by the opening of the hearing aid, and you do not use any cleaning agent on the hearing aids. Also, at the tip of the hearing aid, you may have what is called a hair clear, and that is replaced whenever it is blocked with wax. So you put that on the tip of the hearing aid, and you insert it on the opening of the hearing aid so that it protects the hearing aid from excessive wax getting into the instrument itself. And then you remove this and you discard this as well. And that is basically all you have to do to take care of your hearing aids. Do not swallow the battery for the children. Do not leave it out for the animals to come and play with them. And you open the drawer, put it in its case, leave it open so that if there's any moisture in the hearing aid, it can evaporate. So parents, guard the hearing aid, protect them from any excessive moisture. So no cleaning of alcohol, no cleaning agent, no bleach or anything like that. Just when you remove it from your ears, like this, you take it out, you open the battery drawer, remove the battery, and you put it down in the case. And basically that's all you have to do to take care of the hearing aid that you have.
Where can I get information or help?
More information and help is available at the Jamaica Association for the Deaf, located 9 Morisco Road with entrance on Caledonia Lane in the Kingston 5 area.
What is a wheelchair?
A wheelchair is a chair with wheels used when walking is difficult or impossible due to illness, old age, or disability.
Are there different types of wheelchairs?
Yes, there are different types of wheelchair. Actually, you have 3 types: standing wheelchair, electrical wheelchair, and manual wheelchair.
Tips to care for wheelchairs.
Some tips for caring for the wheelchair are: 1. To remove all dust from the wheelchair frame by using a damp cloth. 2. Check the tires to ensure that they are still hard. Use a bicycle pump to add air if necessary.
A production of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
The findings from the Gender Assessment Report are commensurate with the community outreach focus of the Bureau of Gender Affairs and the lived experiences of numerous families. The report highlights data produced from the Bureau of Gender Affairs and Statin, which show that 1 in every 4 Jamaican women experience physical violence from a male partner. It also shows that young women, 15 to 24 years, are vulnerable to sexual violence, and this is among girls/women with little to no education and who live with their partners from an early age. It also identified that victims/survivors of GBV and their children tend to experience worse educational and health outcomes in their lifetime. A very practical response to the gender-based violence prevalence data is the development of the draft National Shelter Strategy. Through the implementation of the strategy, we launched what we call the Continuum of Care for Survivors of Gender-Based Violence. And this clearly outlines the roles and responsibilities of the participating organizations or agencies to ensure the seamless process for care of the victims. A memorandum of understanding was signed between specific ministries, departments, and agencies to aid in this initiative. So from the moment we get the call through to taking that victim or survivor to a safe place, there is a seamless pathway between the agencies and the entities that are involved in that process. The Bureau of Gender Affairs is in partnership with the Spotlight Initiative to coordinate the implementation of the National Shelter Strategy. The first national government-owned and operated shelter in the Northeast region and a regional shelter in the Eastern region to provide rescue, psychosocial support, restoration, and skills building. The next would be renovation and retrofitting of one additional property to serve as a Western regional shelter. And I'm really happy to announce that the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service has allocated $50 million to complete the renovation and retrofitting of this regional shelter in the West for victims and survivors of gender-based violence. And we should have that shelter ready sometime late this year. Revision of the Domestic Violence Act to provide increased support to victims and survivors. That's another area, and I am happy to report that we signed off on the final drafting of the amendments to the Domestic Violence Act, and we will be taking it to Parliament in the first quarter of the 2023-24 fiscal year. So we will have those amendments come into effect early this year. We're going to be ramping up the community outreach through Partnership for Empowerment initiative to provide financial support to NGOs and community advocacy groups as partners to address GBV. And so far, we have 16 partners across the island, and they also form that network that help us to ensure that we can protect our women. Development of knowledge products on gender-based violence is another area. So we have prepared information in Braille for the blind and voice training for empowerment and self-efficacy skills. We'll also establish gender-based violence helplines. The helpline unit is actually up and running, and the training of social workers and counselors.
We are near the close of Jamaica Magazine today, and in this time remaining, we want you to take a look at how you can put some of your solid waste to good use. Composting not only provides nutrients to feed your vegetable gardens, but it also is a good way to manage your solid waste for a healthier environment. Take a look.
Compost is one of the richest forms of soil nutrient. So here we are buying fertilizer for huge sums of money, when in fact we are throwing away something which is richer in many regards than what we are buying, spending hard cash for. We, from time to time, do what we call garbage characterization survey. This is where we actually go island-wide and take samples of the garbage and look at what make up the garbage. All the surveys that are done in recent past points to one particular set of dynamic. The compostables are always the highest. 67% in some survey, 65% in some. We eat vegetables. We do ground provisions, the peelings from those. We use cardboards, newspapers, lots of stuff that can be broken down and can be put to good use. With such a high percentage of the solid waste being compostable, we are therefore forced to look at how we're going to manage in the best way possible, in the most efficient way possible, that high percentage of the garbage.
Composting is a rich form of soil that is broken down by microorganisms to become either fertilizer or soil. Now we're going to do a demonstration to show you how we can do it. First, if we're starting, this is our kitchen waste. So if you're starting a compost bin at home, you need to get your kitchen peel, your banana, your lettuce, your cabbage, your tomatoes, and you cut them in finer particles. It will make it break down much faster. In order for the microorganism to work effectively, you need moisture, you need air, and you need heat. You can use a hand shovel or your hands. Too much moisture will allow the stuff to rot and it won't be compost. And if it is too dry, the microorganisms won't be able to work effectively. So you need to get a right mixture. If you squeeze it with a fist, you shouldn't have any water running out of it. If it's dripping, it is okay. If it is running out of it, that means you have too much water. So now this is our compost. If you keep this moisture in your compost, it will give you a maturity rate of 3.5 months. And you'll get this final product, which is this right here. Compost, what it does, the longer it stays into the ground, is the richer it becomes. We're going to demonstrate how we use our compost for potting. We're going to pot a few plants using our compost. This plant is called spider fern. It is an indoor plant that does like a fair amount of water. It likes a light mixture. The composting can be used for indoor and outdoor plants. This plant is called a bougainvillea. It is an outdoor plant. It likes a lot of sunlight. It blooms a lot, and it likes dry areas. The compost is offer drainage. It doesn't keep the water too long. This is now 6 weeks old, and this is 3 weeks after being planted as a seedling, using our compost. And this bougainvillea is 6 weeks after being planted by our compost. And they're just blooming, blooming, blooming. This is a mature spider fern that we use for our rentals, and this is about 2.5 months old.
At the NSWMA, the parks that we manage, the beautiful flowers that you see there, the composting that is used to fertilize these plants are actually done within the department here at Parks and Gardens.
The other benefit is that we at the NSWMA, we would need less trucks. Now, right now, our biggest problem is trucks to remove garbage. Can you imagine if we could take out the 67%, which we could convert at source? What that would do to our national budget? Gas oil, repairs of trucks, labor to work on the trucks. Just look at it. It is huge savings that could come. Exponential is about getting a behavioral change at source that will see significant reduction in solid waste. We want to see this reduction and to see it in a very tangible way. And we believe that composting provides that excellent opportunity.
Concerned about uncollected garbage at home? Do you see garbage piling up on the streets? Then report it. Use the National Solid Waste Management Authority's mobile app to report instances of littering, illegal dumping, and uncollected garbage. From anywhere and at any time, be an environment warden by informing the authority of unsightly solid waste. You will be notified when your report has been received by the NSWMA, as well as when the matter is resolved. Download the app from the iOS or Android app stores by typing in NSWMA. Play your part, as Jamaica's beauty is everybody's duty.
Earthquakes can happen at any time. It has nothing to do with the weather. It has nothing to do with the heat. Are you prepared?
What we all need to do is have our preparedness kits ready, just as you would for a hurricane. And this needs to be done year-round. So you need to have your kit with medical supplies. If you are in need of medicine, you have those medications on hand. And general things such as painkillers. You need to have water supply to last you a few days, as well as food that may not require cooking.
Stay prepared.
High-rise buildings are buildings above 10 stories. Mid-rise are between 5 and 9, and low-rise is below 4, 1 to 4. Now, we have a lot of mid-rise and low-rise buildings. We have a few high-rise buildings. When it comes down to high-rise and what we call soft story buildings, those are the buildings with the open basement parking. That is very common for the apartments especially. What we recommend is that they are designed, as was emphasized earlier, by an engineer, especially for the structural components. And those engineers must follow a code. It could have been the ACI code, or some persons might use the British code to design. But whichever code you use, you must be guided and provide the contractors or the constructors with enough information to execute. Now, some of the guidelines for simpler buildings, like a bungalow, we recommend that the rebars or the steel that they use be corrugated. We used to use the mild steel bars, but over the years we realized that the corrugated bars provide a better strength for the tensile aspect of the building. Corrugated bars are what you will see at the hardware with the grooves on the bar. So the plain bars are without the grooves, and the corrugated bars are the one with the grooves around the perimeter, the circumference of the bar. The problem is you cannot really design to prevent earthquake in a sense, because the sine wave and the other factors that comes with the wave, the most you can do is to probably focus on some critical areas. Critical areas for the building is like the column and the foundation. And of course, if your soil type is bad, if it's clay, it is a bad soil type, and so your foundation type has to be different.
This is where we end the program, but only for today. Be here on this station tomorrow, and we will have much more to share. Until then, there is lots to watch over on our website at jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Remember, live good and do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.